dudes are coming out of college, winning the Heisman Trophy, and they get to the NFL and they stink. I use that as an argument because it shows that they are good. They can be good quarterbacks and football players. They can be, but the supporting cast is just as much of an indicator of a guy's success as it is the guy's actual skill set himself. I use the Heisman argument, and other people apparently are one step behind me and use it against me as an argument. Well, what about all the guys that won the Heisman sucked in the NFL? Look at Manziel. Look at Baker. Oh, look at Matt Leinart. What's the common denominator between all the guys that were really good in college, high draft picks, Heisman Trophy winners? Oh, and then they go to the NFL and they stink. Jamarcus Russell, Baker Mayfield, Johnny Manziel, right? Everyone uses those examples. They won Heismans. They sucked in the NFL. Where did they go? Dumpster fires. Dumpster fires. Horrible teams. Mismanaged front offices. Set up for failure. Set up for failure. Because that argument, these guys were good in college, they sucked in the NFL. It used to work for Baker Mayfield. Now it doesn't. Why? Because he's in a better system. He's set up for success. And then he comes through and he executes because he's a darn good quarterback. He was good in college and now he's good in the NFL because he was set up for success now. It's just so simple for me to see. For some reason, people just all blame the quarterbacks. The problem in the NFL, let me say this. Two things can be true at once about quarterbacks in the NFL, especially young guys. But the quarterback position. Number one, true fact. Quarterback is the single most important individual position to determine a team's success in football. It's the most important position. Far and away. Everyone agrees. Number two, and also true, a quarterback cannot maximize his effectiveness if his surrounding facets are Bryce Young, Carolina. Baker Mayfield, previously in Cleveland, for a lot of his career, took him years to dig himself out of that hole. Now, he's in Tampa Bay and he's an absolute dog. Justin Fields in Chicago. Now Caleb Williams in Chicago. These teams are trying to solve all their issues with a quarterback. These dumpster fire NFL teams, I have nothing. It's ridiculous. These dumpster fire NFL franchises, these garbage NFL franchises, from top to bottom, are putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. They're trying to microwave these quarterbacks into success. They're solving all their franchise, organizational, roster construction issues with a quarterback. That's not a recipe for success. You want to talk about a recipe for success? You want to use the word recipe? When you use the word recipe for success and you have a good recipe, typically a good recipe has a lot of quality ingredients. In the case of football, it's a good coach, a good play caller, good weapons to distribute the ball to as a quarterback, and good protection. And then some of the best recipes, anybody's mind, saved in your mom's pantry, typically don't include microwaving the final product to get your end result, like these teams are doing to these quarterbacks. It's a slow roast. It's a bake in the oven. It's time. It's development. Let the dough rise with quality ingredients. Jordan Love sat. Aaron Rodgers sat for a year. Patrick Mahomes sat for a year. Josh Allen had 4 years to turn into who he is. Baker Mayfield went into Cleveland and was microwaved and was a Band-Aid on a bullet hole, a Band-Aid on a broken bone with the Cleveland Browns organization. Didn't play well, didn't get a fair shake, shipped out of town, and everyone said, well, there goes Baker. Career backup the rest of his life, rest of his NFL career. The guy just wasn't very good. Who just signed a monster contract and is now the starting quarterback for a 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, took them to the playoffs last year, and statistically might be the best quarterback in the NFL through the first 2 weeks. Oh, it's Baker Mayfield because he's protected, and Bowles is a great coach, and the play caller's awesome in Tampa Bay, and he has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and he's a dog, by the way. He's an absolute dog, just like he was in Oklahoma. And now he's good. Boom, mind explosion. You can't microwave these quarterbacks. Bryce Young is a good quarterback. Caleb Williams is a good quarterback. Bo Nix is a good quarterback. If they weren't good quarterbacks, they wouldn't have been effective already. at high levels in college. But in order to take that next step, in order to be good NFL quarterbacks, it's not entirely up to them. And in fact, it can ruin their career. And the intangible factors that Caleb's dealing with, that Bryce dealt with in his rookie year into his second year, is you have to force the issue as a quarterback, despite the lack of a supporting cast. Bryce Young's decision-making in the 2 games this year and at points in last season, not good. No question about it. I have no affinity, by the way, towards any of these guys. I don't have any personal bias. I'm not a Panthers fan. I'm not a Bears fan. So I'm not defending Caleb and Bryce with my life. But I will tell you, watch the film, watch the footage, and tell me how many quarterbacks you've seen so far in the league over your entire life or just in these first 2 games that are having success when they have no time to throw. Who? Who is it? Find one. Easy answer, you can't. You just can't. And for Caleb Williams, for Bryce Young, it's an unfair shake because the talent, it's absolutely there. If it wasn't there, these guys wouldn't have won the Heisman. Oh, well, other Heisman players have gone into the NFL and sucked. Yeah, it's the same story. It's the same story. Baker didn't get a fair shake in Cleveland. Johnny Manziel didn't get a fair shake in Cleveland. Now Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, he stinks, but that's beside the point. Bryce Young's the issue, man. Look at his reads. Look at his decision-making. Has a bunch of interceptions. So he's in Carolina. Okay, yep, that's okay. Yep, I remember that. So Bryce Young's in Carolina. Who else were they like before Bryce Young? Let's just say, like, I don't know, just random hypothetical as a comparison. Who was playing quarterback for them before Bryce? Well, they had a year with Baker, and then they had Sam Darnold. Neither of those guys were very good. Okay, yeah, well, those guys aren't good quarterbacks. Aren't they both 2-0 this year? In Minnesota, a well-coached team, and in Tampa Bay, a well-coached? Oh, it's almost like Carolina is the issue and not the quarterbacks. Wow, what a concept. And now we sit here and Bryce Young is benched because they took Bryce Young and they took the Panthers organization. They mashed them together and they threw them in the microwave for 3 minutes on high and said, hopefully this tastes good when it comes out. We know Bryce Young's super sweet and this is a high quality ingredient, but we got a bunch of crap. Let's smack them together, throw them in the microwave, and hopefully something awesome comes out. That's their process in Carolina, not just with Bryce Young, but with Baker, but with Sam Darnold. Now they think Andy Dalton's the answer. That's hysterical. But let's forget about that for a second. Go over to Green Bay. You got a pretty high quality ingredient in Jordan Love. You got a solid ingredient with Matt LaFleur. You got a good defense. You got good supporting cast, great play caller. Organizationally, they have the foundation to give guys success. Let him sit as an ingredient behind Aaron Rodgers for a year. Mix it together. Put the oven on at 375. Throw it in there for 45 minutes. Let it bake. Let it develop. Let it rise. Pull it out when it's ready. What do you get? High quality, consistency, prepared, confident. It's not hard, man. It's not a hard thing to understand. And overall, I think it's just sad to see. Again, because I have no affinity towards these guys, right? I'm not a Bears fan. I'm not a Caleb Williams fan. I think it's just so obvious that he's just getting destroyed in the pocket. Just destroyed. Just killed. Bryce Young is getting his head taken off, man. I think these guys don't play well. And then they feel like they have to force the issue because they have no confidence and they know that nobody else has confidence in them. And in the world of instant gratification and these coaches who put all the blame on the quarterbacks, they feel like they got to go out and make a play. Then they make bad decisions. Then it looks even worse because they make the bad decision. They throw the interception and then everybody can say, I told you so. That's not it, man. These young quarterbacks are not just the solution to organizational problems. The Texans built it up perfectly for CJ Stroud. Frankly, that entire situation with Stroud in Houston, that is the exception. They did it the right way. DeMeco Ryans is awesome, and they loaded him up with Nico Collins and Tank Dell, Noah Brown. Now they have Joe Mixon. They protect him like crazy. Top 10 offensive line. He's tall, he's athletic, he's got great feet, great delivery. Boom, 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 boom. All the ingredients, mix it together, comes out with an awesome product. Does Bryce Young or Caleb Williams have any of those things? I guess Caleb's got some weapons. He's got DJ Moore. Keenan Allen's played one game. Rome Odunze played one game. And Caleb Williams in the backfield getting his head taken off. And people go, oh, Looks like Caleb's just another bust in Chicago, just like Justin Fields. Oh, is Justin Fields also 2-0 over at a different team and an organization that runs things properly and protects their quarterback? Shocker. That's it, man. That's all I got. I'm done ranting, but I just think it's garbage, man. I just feel so bad for these young quarterbacks. They don't get a fair shake, and they go into organizations that are just dumpster fires and are expected to be world savers, and they're just not. They're never gonna be.